Here we are.
Broadcasting
We are
live.
live. Evolve Conversations number 24, I think it is, with my good friend Jan Hutnan. Where are you coming in from, Yanni?
Well, I'm currently sitting in Byron Bay, and I would just want to say that there is no photo behind you. Every episode I was watching before, you made it. But there's Wanaka. I think it's a Lake Wanaka. It's not Byron Bay, isn't it? that stays there from Iron.
There we go. We'll chuck on the universe.
That's okay. Well, thank you. I'm currently in Byron Bay.
Awesome. So yeah, I had a bit of a break from Evolve Conversations for a couple of weeks, and yeah, it's amazing how quick time passes, and we're up to episode 24. And what better way to kind of get things started again with connecting with Jan? Jan's been in my life for jeepers, maybe a good 10 years now, I think. I'm not entirely sure exactly where we started, but Jan's been a massive part of my journey in transformation around health and fitness and redefining what is important, fitness versus health. And obviously he's a founder of an incredible company that literally is Healthy Before Fit, which is the name of the company. Give me a bit of a story about your discoveries over the last 4 to 8 weeks. We'll talk about the past, but we'll also just kind of bring it relevant to right now. Is like, what are some of the discoveries that you've felt, you personally, and in health, over the last 8 weeks of this COVID time of isolation?
Well, Steve, first and foremost, thanks for having me here. It took you a good couple of weeks, or maybe actually more, to get me here, because frankly, seeing your guests on the podcast here or on the platform, I was always asking myself what I'm going to be talking about. That these people are fantastic over there, and so thanks for having me here. It's an honor to be part of this your broadcasting journey. And look, last 8 weeks, I will be honest with you. Me and Chantal, we live in Byron Bay, and we live in a small town near Byron Bay. And when I am not on stage, I am mostly an introvert. I'm a very quiet person, so I spend a lot of time at home, on the pastures here in the house, and that has been over the last 4 years. So nothing has really changed for me over the past 8 weeks, or those challenging 2 months for many people. I guess what it's interesting how the life and the moment are fragile, right? Like how things can change immediately with like this, and then a lot of freedom is taken away from us, and people need to find a ways. And I think it's a really challenging situation for many to get out of it.
And what I want to highlight right now is obviously Jan has got a beautiful accent. He's originally from the Czech Republic. He started his sort of career as an aspiring athlete and was on a trajectory to be a professional hockey player, and that was his dream. It still is his dream today, but that dream might not become a reality to play in the NHL. But he is actually helping NHL athletes and professional athletes train in a different way to get the body moving efficiently and effectively that won't break down over time. And that's one of the many characteristics of being attracted to Yanni, is that he is always led into curiosity around health and fitness, and how to, as he says, sometimes you have to go left instead of right. And he's really challenged that over the last couple of years. And it's definitely paying off. I've never seen someone so healthy and vibrant and positive in life and relationships and in business, and seen Yanni really thrive over the last couple of years, and is now literally, as I said, helping professional athletes be better humans, both inside and out. But Yanni moved at 31. You would not think this. He moved to Australia and started learning English. English is his second language. Because there must have been a time when you came to Australia and you had a sense of loneliness and isolation, and like, oh my goodness, I'm in this new environment. What were some of the pillars that you leant into to help thrive during that time when you said, right, I'm done in Czech, I'm going to Australia, I'm starting a new life? What were some of those values that have take you through to that today? Like, I just look at you and you're an inspiration to many.
Well, when I moved here in 32, I moved after about 2 short visits in 2004 and then 2008, and then 2010 I moved to Australia. I decided that the decision has been made that I will not be a hockey player, and I wanted to be a coach, and I wanted to help people to move better. At that time, back in 2006, 7, 8, 9, I didn't really know what does it mean. I discovered that later down the track when we met our mutual friends, which we can talk about later. So I moved here with all I wanted was really live a life that is, that is happy, healthy, in a thriving environment, in a very fresh and humble environment. And I decided for Australia. Obviously, I moved to Australia because my sister was living here for a long time, and so that was an easy choice. And yeah, you're right. And at the age of 32, I remember, we always joke with Chantal, with my wife, a lot of stories. Me sitting in the school with 16, 17 years old Asian students, and I was 32, learning English and helping them to like a lot of laugh, a lot of giggles, and a lot of interesting moments with almost like one generation younger people, and me having not speaking English really good. I must admit that the first time I tried, I thought I'm speaking very well English. It was my first training session in English in 2010. I woke up pretty quickly because I could not explain anything in my industry. I could say days and months and all these basic things, but it was it. So I started pretty much from the beginning. The one thing would always look. I'm a very positive person. I hardly, you have the one situation, and then you have 2 different people. That situation can be viewed by obstacles or opportunities, right? I always seek opportunities. I never see things as an obstacle. So for me to move here with a couple of bags with no English wasn't actually really hard. Obviously, there were a lot of challenges on the way, but my narrative and my mindset and the friends around me, to be honest, I didn't do that my alone. There is a saying that together we go far, and I'm glad the Michelle and the team reminded me the whole journey from 2011 till now that together we can do a lot. And so when I got to Australia, I always had people around me who were willing to give me the hand I could lean on, I can rely on. But first and foremost, in the end, people will not do things for you. You have to do them. You have to step into the arena, and you have to work hard, and you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the process. And if there is an obstacle, you have to understand that that's not end of the world. That's just a little bump on the road, or in the road, whatever you're saying in English, right? So I always see obstacle as very positive. I look at everything through the lens of enjoyment and happiness.
If we thanks for, and I think this is a perfect segue into the health part. Let's dig deep into health, and we're going to probably butt heads on a few things, and this is how I want the conversation to kind of go, is that health. Let's define health as that the mindset of opportunity and obstacle. And a lot of people, if we're putting a generalization, see health as an obstacle versus an opportunity. And when you kind of put those 2 different points there, why do you think it is that so many people that are already on the slope of degeneration or health symptoms that are creeping in, and we know once symptoms show, you're already halfway down the track, they see health as an obstacle versus an opportunity? Why do you think that is?
Well, it's a really good question, and I think it can be a loaded answer to this, right? First and foremost, I think it may not start with them. I never blame people for having these feelings, right? They're always leaders and guides who people have around them, and so I mean, those people in this case, it's us, like right now, health coaching and trainers. Like we are trying to help people to live a healthy lifestyle, and we either are you there? I lost you. I lost Steven. Well, I'm gonna keep going. I hope he's still there.
Oh, what happened there?
Yeah,
Oh,
I lost you. What was that?
we're back again. Something just magically happened and we disappeared and we're back again. That's
Well,
what
but
happened.
I never disappeared. I was over there, but you disappeared. I was like,
I
"Where's my
disappeared.
friend Steve?"
Sorry, Yanni was
No, no, it's
continuing
okay.
on. So sorry, back to
Yeah.
obstacle versus opportunity. So obstacle, understand, and then like how do we see health as an opportunity? Because so many people are business people and entrepreneurs, and we only seek opportunities, like opportunity, and health usually is like an obstacle, and that's put in priority too. What are some things and some mindsets we can think about to turn health into the biggest opportunity of our lifetime?
Look, I will not sugarcoat this conversation, and I'll be very honest with you. I mean, when we look at what we as a human being, as a sister, brother, mother, father want to achieve, it's always around being there for our kids, making a living, live comfortable life, right? Be successful at work, and whatever we want to achieve, I think, and I'm pretty confident that everything is actually anchored to we need to be healthy first. We need to be resilient. We can bend in many directions because lifestyle is throwing stones at us. Mm-hmm. Right? Like we are hammered from all possible directions. And one of the reasons why people losing it is because lifestyle is just harsh. Like we pay the bills, things are going fast in the world. We have this pandemic, we're losing the businesses, we get sick. But first and foremost, if I'm thinking was my fundamental goal on this earth, and that's thrive for my kids, make money, enjoy it as much as possible, I don't see any other way than taking care of ourselves first. That's my drive. Like, people tell me, I don't have the drive, I don't have the goal. I was like, if it's my friend, I what do you mean? Because what do you want to do? And I'm like, well, I want to be the best father ever. Yeah, if you want to be a best father ever, you need to be selfish first, because if you're not taking care of your health, then those kids don't have you, right? You're gonna sick, you can't move, and they want to play with you. They want to, hey, daddy. And the key for that is, if I want to be here for my kids, I want to be in my best shape possible forever, right? So we're looking at the lens of longevity and sustainability. So, I mean, lifestyle is hard, life is hard, but we need to stop, pause, and we'll say, what is my number one goal? And if that's taking care of others, I have to first taking care of myself.
So on that front, and I love, we need to be selfish, and like we are being primed generation after generation is like, be kind, look after others first. It's literally we've been wired this way. So, Sarah Goldsmith, say hi, Yanni. She's giving you high fives.
Where do you read the comments?
I read them on StreamYard, but Sarah's having a good look.
I can see it too. Hold on, I can see it too. Live comments.
There you go. Is selfish. Let's talk about some selfish health strategies. Very selfish health strategies, because we all know if a plane's going down, you're going to put the oxygen mask on first. And I think you've taught me really well over the last couple of years, even the last couple of weeks, when my sleep was all over the place. Yes, I was getting the hours of sleep, but I wasn't getting the quality of sleep. And you literally gave me everyone thinks health is around science and everything else. But you know what? If you can all break it down to some simple take homes and some let's just talk about selfish health strategies that people can take back to improve sleep quality, to improve nutritional intake, to make your brain function in the afternoon. What are some of your non-negotiables when it comes to selfish? Before Chantal, before anyone else, what are your selfish health strategies?
It's an awesome topic. Let's do this. So Absolutely. There's a few. I'd say, our health is about series of small actions done through the day, right? It's never about going to the gym only and lift the weights or going for a run. These are part of the journey. These are the puzzles, into the complete picture. But it's really start with the strategies that are first and foremost extremely simple. Well, you just said that, right? I have this kind of flow. And this kind of flow what I'm always using with the coaches, because one of the things I work with the personal trainers and coaches more than the normal people, not normal people, but with the day-to-day audience. And I always said, if the strategies are simple, people understand. If they understand, they can engage. Now, if they engage, they will see and feel result. If they see and feel the result, they feel empowered, so they engage more and build a sustainable health, right? That's a flow. But it starts with
That's so important. Sorry to cut you in but just the
okay.
take home of like understanding to engage, and so many health strategies are out there. And you'll put your hand out at the start when you were diving in. You thought, how can I be more scientific research based? And then now I can kind of see how you've evolved as an incredible coach. Is like, how can I take that science and research and bring it so simple so I understand it? Like, I love to go into science and research and KPIs, but if I understand it and then I can feel a direct impact, and I'm going to give an example on the call. Yanni, 2 weeks ago, I was just like, how do I improve my sleep quality? Because I'm still buggered in the afternoon. Was have a hot shower, a really hot shower before bed, and wear like long pants if you can, and socks, and that's going to keep your temperature kind of. And that's all I did. And I dimmed my lights and put candles on before I went to bed. And literally, that's not a 22 step on how to get better REM sleep. That was literally 3 points. And I have a tracking device. I know how much REM sleep, if it's accurate or not, placebo or not. I now know in the last 2 weeks, my sleep quality has increased. So I just love that thing of understanding equals engagement equal results. It's just that flow. So continue the flow. I just wanted to give people an example of like how easy it is to turn an obstacle into an opportunity that equals thriving in life. So
Okay. I think that we have people around us in our teams who are so heavy on science, right? So we back up with the science. Like, I'll be honest with you, I'm not the most scientific guy. I never went to university. All I have learned is through my daily studies and through my own examples. I'm a big in practicality. I apply things immediately, even if I'm not confident with them. I apply them. I try them, right? Whether it's 4Q training or whether it's all those sleep strategies. So I'm a big in practical. So I'm not a scientific guy. I'm lucky to have people who are big in science in our team. So I'm backed up by them. And we have to go through that ourselves, right? So everything what I preach, I hardly not do in my life, and so I know how it makes me feel. And then I have several people who's giving me feedback. How does it make me feel? It's a really interesting conversation you are having over the time as you applying things. Like, put the socks on and a hot shower may not work for everybody, right? It's a really conversation. And this way, I was listening recently an amazing podcast, and there's something what struck with me, and it was really a one sentence. Every answer needs a context, right? So when people ask me something on the social media, it's hard to give people an answer because I don't know the context, right? It's a personalization. Every answer needed context or additional information, right? That's the reason why when you're listening to a lot of podcasts with people who are really knowledgeable, they hardly give you a definitive answer, right? They'll always say, well, it depends. And it depends.
Especially in the health space, it's a very broad. Yeah. So
I'll tell you an example with myself and Chantel, right? Like, we are completely opposite personality. right? Chantal likes to work until late night and likes to sleep all the way till 10 a.m. I, on the other hand, I'm tired by 8 p.m. and I wake up at 5 and I'm the most energized, right? She likes warm room. I like cold room, right? I sleep almost naked, and she sleeps in the full pajamas, right? And so people are so different, and we need to, in the health coaching, it's really needs to be personalized. We need to give people voice. We need to dig deeper, and we need to, first and foremost, what I do is really ignite the positive relationship with their thoughts and with the mindset, because that's going to influence the cell health, and the cell health is the paramount for the actions. And it's been amazing for us so far. And so my negotiable is morning routine. It's the wake up in the morning, get out, let the sunlight to get into my eyes, do a simple movements. You've been on the 12 weeks program with me for last 4 weeks. And the movements are very simple, right? It's sometimes laughable. We circle the shoulders. And when you look at recently, I said, not every cool drill must be cool. When you wake up in the morning and your body doesn't want to move very complicated way, you're just going to expose your eyes, roll the shoulders, reach out somewhere, and you feel amazing for the rest of the day. And that's a small pillar into it. And you do these habits. And Steve, we're stacking the habits, right? And we create this robust, sustainable house full of habits that you even don't think of them. And so that's nothing to do with exercise. That's changing behavior.
Well, I love the habit stacking, and yes, I've obviously been part of a lot of Jan's programming over the time, but currently he's doing a 12-week program. I think it's so timely that it's actually running on over COVID time, or this time of isolation, or different times, is that habit stacking and the time of isolation, I feel the engagement's going to be higher. So Atomic Habits, it's funny, I was listening to it at the same time as you started to talk about habit stacking. So the whole link to context, from Atomic Habits and the habit stacking, one habit at the start, and literally the first week was around breathing and getting the joints warm in the morning. And then, yes, I was a little bit bored. I was like, type A personality, I need more Yanni. But I understand by investing in this 12-week program that it's the best thing for me mentally and physically, because type A personalities are like go, 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 go. And then we go to the gym, then we don't recover. And then we wonder why we burn out. And that's when I get on the phone to Yanni, and he's like, what have you been doing? I've done no recovery for 12 weeks, Jan. No wonder you can depleted. But the habit stacking is so powerful, and the simple movements, but also with the habit stacking with variability. And I've always loved variability in training, and that's what you teach, is like being able to have 4 boxes. I'm going to butcher this, is like have something with high intensity, have something with a little bit of movement, but movement for the body and the mind. And then there is breathing exercises to be able to kind of look at your health in four boxes, which I'm teachers is super powerful. If we were to go the 3x3 strategy, because people on this, everyone wants the blue pill. Give me the blue pill, the magic pill to solve things. So we're going to try and give them the magic blue pill on this call, and just go the 3x3. So I can kind of say the 3 things that are really working for me in the evening that Jan has taught me is literally, how do I dim the lighting environment in my home to bring down the stimulus. So that's what I've done, and have a super hot shower before bed. I used to be a shower in the morning guy and have a shower every morning. That's been a massive change in my life. And having a cup of tea, of chamomile tea or something that doesn't have caffeine in before bed has really helped transform me. And that was Jan's tip. So Jan, what's your 3 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon? A lot of people get to this time of the day and they're just fried, so then they eat shit food, then they have a coffee. So what's those 3 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon that can really help people have the 3x3?
I think the first thing probably for me will be get out, go outside and move for 5 minutes. That would be my first one. I usually start with saying a thankful thing. I don't write things down. A lot of people recommend gratitude journal. It wasn't sustainable for me. I started, but I couldn't just keep going for the rest of my life, right? And for many reasons. And as I said, I look at everything around health through the lens of sustainability. Can I do this forever, right? If I'm on this exercise journey and I am attending these sort of classes and I love them, can I do that in 7 years time from now on, right? The same is going to be with the food. Am I eating this food? Am I able to sustain on that food for 7 years for the rest of my life? And so look at everything through the lens of sustainability. My wife just arrived, so she'll be probably interrupting you. Through the lens of sustainability, that's the first. So getting outside, saying thank you to whoever is there for whatever I have. It can be as simple. Well, thank you. I woke up in the morning and I feel fresh, right? That's the simplicity. And a lot of people would say, well, he taught you to drink a chamomile tea and have a hot shower. Well, that's a lot of rocket science, right? But it's not rocket science. The funny part about it is that a lot of people actually don't do these things. We could not believe how many people actually do not drink enough water during the day. And we are in 2020. And I couldn't actually understand. I couldn't believe that I have to still tell people to eat at least 3 pieces of vegetables. It's just shocking to me. However, that's completely fine with me because I'm here to help people and guide them no matter what, right? And so I understand that the life is challenging, but doing simple things like you just said and doing them every day, that's sustainability. Now, that small action will take you through those years until you don't actually have to think about it, right? Like you talk about Atomic Habits and the other books, and I've been fortunate enough to be part of the Singapore government project with IOM, and I learned a lot about habit stacking and about how it works in the brain, etc. And it's interesting because as we sit in the car, we don't even think about seatbelt, car, and the action. Well, that's exactly can be done in our health, right? We don't have to think about it. So now what I do, you actually ask me, what are my 3 times 3? And I'm buying myself time because I was just thinking, I don't even think of this anymore, right? Like so I think what's going to be probably more better, I just want to tell you the 3, not morning and afternoon, but 3 non-negotiable during the day, what I do. So first is definitely any form of movement during the day, any form. We exercise, but let's just say that we create an environment in our house that we have equipment elsewhere. So every hour we can do something, right? Like, I like Vipr Pro. So I do 10 thread the needles and I move on. It's not exercise, right? And I go for a walk. So movement throughout the day is critical for me, right? We talk about the idea, what is the good posture, right? The good posture is the one that moves often. Right. But when you look at the typical suggestion is sitting this way, right? Upright. Well, sitting this way for 14 hours, it's going to make my spine in pain. Well, sitting this way, it's not good either. Right. So we always said that the good posture is the one that moves often. Yeah. And so movement throughout the day. Second, that is absolutely, and walk in the nature. I built this habit, Steve. It was really hard because when I moved to Byron Bay, we don't live in Byron Bay. We live in a small town near Byron Bay, and we have to drive to our walk, right? So we have to sit in the car first, drive there. And so I built it the way that I had to stop. She's just making this through the window. And so I built this habit by putting this a reminder into my phone. Then put my shoes in front of the door so I don't miss them, right? So if I see the shoes, I know the shoes that are there for a reason. That means I have to go for a walk. Now, don't even try to take it away from me, right? It's so strong. And what it does to me is actually speeding up my productivity. People will say, well, I don't have the time to go for a 1 hour walk. Well, first and foremost, you do, because if you do, you actually can be more productive. You can schedule the calls, right? I'm gonna tomorrow have a 3 hours call with Michelle, and I'm gonna be on the walk. I know where I'm gonna be exactly, like doing a business, right? So you do have a time. So I think walk is no negotiable. And third part, I'd say will be, with our 12 weeks program, I assigned to you guys do a 3 deep breaths before driving or eating any meal, right? So every time I sit in the car, before I start up the car, I take 3 deep breaths. 3. How long it's going to take me? 30 seconds. Do I have 30 seconds? For sure. If I would do it for 15 minutes, would that be sustainable for me? Maybe for first week. I wouldn't be able to first of life, right? I can do 3. Then I do the same before the meal because I know that I can, because a lot of people, and me and Chantel, we're in that journey as well, right? It's challenging. You want to eat quickly, go back into your emails and answer everything. But we don't even know what we eat, how it tastes, and then our belly is aching, right? Because the digestion doesn't work. So with those 3 simple breaths, before you actually touch the meal, we slowing down the body, we're stimulating the vagus nerve, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, we know what we eat, we chew, we can enjoy the meal. And the last one probably is the sleep. Steve, I can't really express. Sleep is the one thing that can trump everything in your life. You can eat the best meals on the planet, you can exercise how you want, but if you're sleep deprived and it's accumulating, you're not going to win the battle. And it's one of the things I work with the people first. And so we have a lot of sleep strategies, a lot of sleep habits, and including, turn off the lights with the sunset, put the candles on, put the slow music, hot shower, again, some sort of short breathing, 2 minutes. I don't go into meditations. And then, read the book, turn off the notifications. There's a lot of things you can do, honestly, and it doesn't have to be very complicated. So movement throughout the day, walk in nature, breathing often during the day, and then sleep. We're probably my 4 where I work on very, very, you can't really win over me if you try to take it.
Exactly. You've got to love, and I know we could be going for another 30 minutes to an hour. And I purposely left off nutrition on this one because that is a rabbit hole that you could literally spend hours and hours and weeks. And that's a conversation with your beautiful wife, Chantel, on a call to come up first. But yeah, I'm just super grateful for our friendship, our relationship, and the way we keep each other accountable. We're there to support each other. I think in times of uncertainty, what I'm super grateful for is these evolved conversations and the people that have made an impact in my life over the last 2 to 35 years. You've definitely been one to keep me on the straight and narrow when it comes to health, and I'm eternally grateful for that, because health is something I think you can't get back. You can get it back, but the more time you spend investing in your health, the better we are going to be down the track. That's
it's I can't say it any better, Steve. I think when you at the beginning we started this conversation, and you kind of the definition of health is different for every person, right? Yeah. But there's this saying, and it really, really stuck with me for probably forever, is that when you're healthy, you have thousands of dreams and goals. Mm-hmm. When you're not, you have only one. Right, and that's being healthy. And I think my personal story about the deaths in the family, and I don't want to waste any time on this life by having not only negative thoughts, because I want to be realistic. Life is tough. We can't be always happy and chatty, right? There are down moments. I have them as well, but we have to. I think what I'm saying is, if we have a strategies how to pull ourselves out and then have people to lean on, then it's much simpler, right? So health for me is really the idea of bend but never break. And we don't have to really talk about muscles, right? We talk about health across many different levels in the body, and that's health for me. And I personally not waiting for something to happen and then I'm going to start acting. I'm going to rather prevent that something to happen. So preventative health is really those strategies we're working on daily, so we don't have to find ourselves in those compromised, vulnerable, very fragile positions. So yeah.
And I think part of the conversation is obviously midway through with obstacle and opportunity, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs listening to this. Is that we're so often looking for an opportunity in business, and we see health as an obstacle. How might we reframe that to go, what opportunities can we find in health? Because the ROI on the investment in that opportunity is going to far outweigh any investment that you're going to invest in an opportunity in business. And I think that reframe of thought right there for entrepreneurs, because usually health does come second. Unfortunately, I've got this guy that keeps me accountable, but I leave you with that question, and that challenge is that when you're next looking at an opportunity, what opportunity might you bring to your health ecosystem? Because, hey, we can't take wealth to the grave. So we spend our whole life generating to pay for our health down the track. Reframe that. Get health and wealth shall come. So
yeah, I've been lucky to know you, because I know how to take care of my health, but I don't know how to take care of the other side. Whereas you know how to take care of that other side, and this goes back to 20X, right? We describe it IOM, how we can be stronger together and support each other rather than trying to separate ways, right? Because let's be honest, we can't be naive. We need to make money and career, but can we do that with the superior health? I'm 100% confident we can, but we need to support each other and ask real questions, right? And that's I will probably finish by saying, and I don't want to leave this call to not say that, is that Steve, you've been there for me and Chantel over the past many years. Regardless what, we didn't even have a call for 2 years, and you've still been there. You still, send us a message how we are, and so I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart personally, and Chantel will say the same, for being the person who you are. And that's the reason why you have so many people around you who's helping you, because you have a deep heart, you care, and I feel very lucky to have you in my corner. So thank you.
Cheers, man. Always right back at you, man. So on that, and we'll chuck some links into the feed as well if you want to find out more information about what Yanni's up to, and awesome health strategies. There's some great blog posts I'll shoot you. But on that, thanks, Yanni, and signing out now.